the world of sports and warfare. There's a fine line between victory and vulnerability, and that line is really thin. But there's a revolutionary device on the scene nowadays. It's called the Q-collar. It's a piece of protective gear that goes beyond the traditional helmets that you see on the outside of the skull, and it actually shields the brain from unseen threats that are posed by repetitive impacts to the head. Picture this: athletes engaging in high-impact sports, Marines facing the rigors of battle. In both arenas, the Q-collar stands strong, offering an additional layer of defense where it matters most. While helmets provide that external protection for the skull, the Q-collar takes a novel approach by limiting the brain's movement inside the skull. Athletes not wearing the Q-collar were found to be 3 times more likely to exhibit significant changes in their brain tissue. A staggering 73% of those without the collar showed such changes after a single season of play. That's where this Q-collar thing comes in. It literally sits around the neck and provides compression on the jugular vein. That jugular vein compression facilitated by the collar could reduce damage to the brain neurons and axons by over 80%. Traditional helmets, they focus on preventing direct contact and spreading impact force. But they do fall short when it comes to limiting brain movement. The Q-collar is that device, shielding the brain from the inside. When the head experiences a hit, the brain's rapid back and forth movement inside the skull is known as brain slosh, and that leads to traumatic brain injuries. The collar creates a gentle pressure. That pressure slightly raises blood volume in the skull and the skull's blood vessels. As a result, there's less motion during impact because the brain fits tighter inside your skull, and that reduces the sloshing around of your brain. The Q-collar is made of silicone urethane and encapsulates a highly engineered steel spring that provides a consistent compressive force. It's designed to apply pressure in the right areas on your neck, compressing the jugular vein while avoiding injury or interfering with activities. It's lightweight. It doesn't fit too tight or cause discomfort, but it does provide constant compression. There have been no reports of adverse effects from people wearing it, but it does typically take about a week to get used to. After 3 weeks, you'll feel like you're missing something if you don't have it on. Jugular compression that's facilitated by this collar reduced damage to key indicators of brain injury by 83%. The simplicity behind the science of the collar is nothing short than mind-boggling. Wearing the Q-collar resulted in no significant changes in white matter for 77% of athletes, while 73% of those without the collar showed significant alterations. The collar's potential extends beyond sports, as it may reduce the risk and severity of traumatic brain injuries, even from blast waves. There is no statistical risk to the body from wearing the collar, and in some cases is believed to actually enhance performance. These are Interesting Things with JC.